Hi, I'm Angela Non.
I'm Ariana Kempis.
And this is BRB Crying.
Hey everyone!
Hi there!
Welcome back to BRB Crying. I'm Ariana, also known as Arns.
I'm Angela, also known as Nins. And you found our little podcast.
Yay! Congratulations!
Good for you. This is a podcast where we realize how often we come across things that make us cry. And it's actually pretty cool. And we kind of just shove it in your faces week after week.
Yeah.
Till you're convinced as well.
Yes. That is our thesis.
Yep.
What's up? What's going on?
Nothing much.
Yeah.
Same old.
Same old.
Had a pretty average week.
Okay.
You know? Mm-hmm. A little rough in the beginning.
Okay.
Case of the Mondays. Mm-hmm. Unrelated to my mood. I mean, the amount of crying that I do is not necessarily equated to my mood, obviously, because we cry for several different reasons.
Yes.
But I cried a lot this week. Just TikToks presented to me against my will.
The damn TikToks.
Yeah.
Someone like strapped you to a chair and forced your eyes open.
Yeah. And was like, watch this content. Yeah.
I hate when that happens.
I know.
God.
We had some great therapy sessions this week.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Love a good therapy sesh.
But I guess I'll go into a little bit more detail about one particular thing that made me cry this week. And that is a sob story that we got from one of our listeners.
A sob story?
A sob story.
And what, pray tell, is a sob story?
So for those of you listening, we are adding a new section.
For those of you not listening. Sorry. Yes.
For those of you listening, we are adding a new section to our episodes called the sob story.
Sob story. Soundbite? Do we need a soundbite?
What do you mean?
Like a wah, you know, like how the good context, you know? All right. Sorry.
So during this sob story section, we will be sharing messages that were submitted by our listeners, because we always invite our listeners to submit a story talking about something that made them cry that they want to share with us. You can submit a story by sending us an email at hello@brbcryingpodcast.com or by submitting it on a form on our website at brbcryingpodcast.com. And one such message that we received today was from my cousin Beverly.
Okay.
So some background. My cousin Bev, she's my cousin on my dad's side. Our dads are brothers. She is the mother of 3 beautiful children. And last year, her youngest daughter, Luna, who's 2 years old, was diagnosed with a rare genetic disorder called SATB2 syndrome. And it is a multi-disorder syndrome that involves speech apraxia, meaning that many of those with this syndrome are nonverbal and have limited speech. Comes with intellectual disabilities and abnormal teeth growth and palate development, among other things. And Beverly and her husband have just done such an incredible job as parents to provide all the resources and support to help Luna with this syndrome while also just raising their 2 other kids. I'm in awe of her. I don't have words to describe what an incredible mother she is and just like what an incredible person she is. She's just, but anyway, she wrote us a message about a moment that made her cry. And it involves a conversation that she had with my dad, whom she lovingly calls her Tito Boy. So this is what she wrote. I just wanted to share something that Tito Boy said to me at my dad's birthday dinner last year, which was maybe 2 weeks post Luna's diagnosis. We were eating at Jerry's Grill, And your dad has always been the one to notice and feel my energy, whether it be through just looking at my eyes or even my body language. It was at a time where I was at my lowest, and he whispers to me, "You know, Bev, I can tell you are hurting, but one thing I want to tell you is Luna will never leave you. She will always be with you. We raise our kids, and when they become adults, they leave our homes. But Luna, on the other hand, she will grow up to be your biggest blessing in disguise because you will never be lonely." I literally looked at him and started holding back my tears. I drove home that night with his words really resonating with me. So I was like a level 8 cry when I read that message. Dad, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know. What a beautiful thing to share. What a beautiful memory to send us. I just sometimes have to stop myself from, like, if I think for too long about how much a parent loves their kid, I just, let's close that door. Like,
Yeah.
ooh. But for my dad to understand Bev in that moment, to just recognize parent to parent how her heart as a mother was just going through it as she processed this news about Luna. Just what a way to shift that perspective and just offer your support and your understanding when people go through things. I think that sometimes when you can tell someone is going through a hard time, as much as we feel empathy, sometimes we don't know what to say. And so we just don't say anything. But I'm just really glad that not only was my dad there for her in that moment, but actually was able to say something that offered her comfort, something that she's still holding on to a year later, you know?
Yeah.
When I think about any parent and child relationship, I'm just such a firm believer that the people we know and love in this lifetime, they didn't find us on accident. Our souls have some sort of say before we're born. And I just think that Luna handpicked this family to love her for her whole life. Thank you, Bev, for sharing this message with us. And we hope that for all parents, especially those that are raising children with special needs, that they can be comforted by these words, or that your own village who recognize all the incredible work you do as parents to raise these precious souls. So yeah, if you'd like to learn more about SATB2 syndrome or check in on Luna's incredible progress and development, we'll share the IG account Bev created to spread awareness. Or just at the very least, let this also be a gentle reminder for people who are raising children to teach them to be inclusive and respectful to all people, and refrain from using slurs or labels like the R word to describe those with neurodivergence. She just wanted me to say, you know, every neurodivergent person is still a human being with feelings. So I would love for people to understand that these are people who are absolutely beautiful in their own way. The world would be better off if everyone would realize this, and teaching their kids young is a great start.
First of all, thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Bev, for being vulnerable with us. I was totally thinking about exactly what you said about your dad recognizing how she was feeling and feeling brave enough to say something, because I am so guilty of so many times in my life where someone is clearly going through something, and at risk of making a fool of myself or making them possibly uncomfortable, it's just a lot easier to say nothing at all. But I think this has been a great lesson for me, using discretion, of course, but sometimes if you take a chance and offer those words, it can really help someone. Like what Bev was saying, holding on to it. If he never said it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that.
Shout out Dad. Great dude.
I never called him Tito Boy, but should I start? That would feel weird.
Everyone needs a Tito Boy
I
in their
have
life.
one. I have one.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right.
I never called your dad that.
What do you call him?
Tito Tony.
Oh, Tito Tony?
Yeah.
You know what? That's fine. He wears many hats.
Yeah.
But great guy.
Great guy.
Nonetheless.
Love him. I do. I do love your dad. I do.
Anyway.
What a way.
What a way to start.
What a way to start.
I think that was a record. Cried
Oh, yeah.
2 minutes in.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we should just kind of maybe get into it.
All right. Sure.
Let's fucking do this, I guess.
Let's fucking get it on, dude.
All right. So today I'm going to be talking about something that I have been accused of gatekeeping. That was not intentional. I mentioned this during the first episode.
Okay.
And I didn't go into detail, but it was because I wanted to do it justice and actually talk about it.
Okay. I was like, the first episode, I've only watched it 12 times. So let me try to
Let me rack my brain line for line for everything you said. So let me paint the scene for you. It's December 2023. It's a little chilly, but we're in California, so not that chilly. I'm watching my husband get so into his feels. And it's great. I mean, he's reflecting on trauma. He's doing a lot of crying, which he doesn't do very often. And he's opening up about it. And I'm all here for it. But at some point, I'm like, what's up? You know, like what happened? What's happening? And he was like, okay, fine, I'll tell you. And he sends me this link to a podcast and I'm fucking hooked. I watch that shit. I cry. There's a book. I read the book. It changes my life because things change my life all the time. But no, this one really changed my fucking life. And I don't shut the fuck up about it for months. You know this.
That's why we're here today.
I lectured you. I lectured everyone in my life. I was like, sit down and let me stand here and tell you everything about this fucking book. So what is this book? It is none other than Bending Reality by Victoria Song. So, cry level. The book itself is not a crier, but she does exercises. And so I cried when I was working through the book because it's kind of a workbook format. All right. So before we start, some references, obviously the book, Bending Reality by Victoria Song. And then the podcast that I listened to was Under the Influence. And it was episode 129. They released it back in October of 2023. And I will obviously link this pod, give it a shout out in our show notes. So Victoria Song is the author of this book, and she is a life coach of sorts. She was a high achiever her entire life. She went to Yale and Harvard.
Where's that?
I think it's...
Never heard of them.
I think they're in Texas. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll look it up, though, and we'll link it in the show notes.
Okay.
So she went to Yale and Harvard, and she got into investing. And she wanted to be taken seriously because she was...
Because that wasn't enough.
Because everyone was like, Yale or Harvard? Just like this.
Sure,
They didn't know. So she decided that she wanted to see like a speech coach, someone to help her be more confident. She ended up stumbling upon a life coach. And then that was kind of where this all started. So she explored spirituality. She had an existential awakening, and eventually she realized that she was fucking miserable. Surprise. At her VC job. And so she made her way eventually into coaching. And during that time, she says in this podcast episode that she met with like 20 different coaches just for all these different areas in her life. And so the book that she wrote, Bending Reality, is kind of a synthesis of all the findings, the commonalities and all the findings that she had when working with these different coaches and therapists. So the broader concept, I will indulge you all. I know you're all dying to hear my lecture. I've given this many, many times, so buckle in. But the broad concept is expansion versus contraction. And expansion is when we feel relaxed and open and light. And then contraction is when we feel withdrawn and those more quote unquote negative emotions and angry and bitter, and there's tightness and tension in our bodies. So she says that contractions are stuck energy patterns in our body. So it's shitty things happening to us and storing it away, burying it deep, and then experiencing things that re-trigger a lot of the traumas that we've experienced, and then kind of going through this cycle of just feeling like shit. And she thinks that most of us are just chilling subconsciously in contraction. Always. And we don't even realize it because we're so used to it. Because it's not just feeling shitty, but it also could look like feeling numb and confusing numbness with peace. So it can look like distracting yourself so you don't have to face your feelings. And that's not just with recreational drugs. It can also be with work and things that look productive. And so you quote unquote feel good, but your threshold for feeling is just so small. And so when your body is numb and you're limited in feeling the highs and the lows, then your reality is also limited. And the reason why most of us are stopping ourselves from feeling is because our inner child doesn't feel safe to express those emotions. We repress our emotions saying we're past it, like, oh yeah, I'm over it. And we're not fucking over it, you know? And we spend a lot of our energy repressing those emotions. The big question then is, when you're in contraction, how do you move past it? So you move the stuck energy with breath, movement, or sound. So I love to scream into a pillow. I love to scream in my car. I screamed in my car a few days ago and I still have a sore throat. I was screaming so loud. The first time I did it, it felt almost like feral. Like I've never felt almost like animalistic, you know? And that's when I realized, oh my God, I have never screamed like that. I have never expressed rage like that in my life. And so the goal is to express it and let the emotions move through your body. And when we process it, it has less power over us and we have more clarity to act. And so the bottom line is the only way out is through. She says this multiple times on that podcast. The only way out is through. So expansion isn't just pretending we're happy and distracting ourselves. It's whenever we find ourselves in contraction, moving through it. And then taking our time to move through it too. Because if you pretend that you're past something, again, you're using your energy to repress those emotions. So when we move through that contraction, we expand that bandwidth of our nervous system to feel. And then we spend more and more time in expansion. And so the goal is to become familiar with that process of feeling like shit, expressing it, letting it pass through you, and then rebounding. And on this podcast episode, there is a segment where I cried so hard when I watched this. She helps one of the co-hosts process a childhood trauma, and it's fucked up, the shit that he experienced. And this is around the 1 hour mark of that episode, and it's maybe 20 minutes. So I really, if you are interested in this, obviously listen to the whole episode, but especially this little 20-minute segment. But basically she helped him realize that he's safe in his adult body to experience and express whatever he did not feel safe to feel before. So this gets into the book, and I won't go too deep into the actual book because I really just want everyone to read this. In each chapter of this book, she delves into these broad concepts like expansion versus contraction, and then provides an exercise at the end. And like I mentioned, you get what you put into this. So you could read this book, but like just reading it's not going to do anything. You have to fucking do the work. So at the end of the first chapter, the exercise is called Uncover the Seeds of Your Contraction. And she poses the question, what does your family fear and what do they value? What do you believe you need to do and whom do you need to be to deserve love? What gets you applause and approval? What's met with disapproval? What's the worst thing someone could say or think about you? Think about your parents' attitudes towards themselves, you, and others. These are the foundations of your programming, the source of your core contractions. I know I just threw a bunch of fucking big questions at you, but the whole time I was going through this, because I was actually taking time to go through it, I was bawling, like probably 8-level cry.
Were you journaling or?
Yeah, I was journaling.
Okay.
I was taking my time through every single question.
Yeah.
And I've never done that before.
Yeah.
Like taking inventory.
Well, I was asking because it's so easy to hear a question and then just think that you know what the answer is.
Yeah.
But there's something so much more powerful when you actually take the time to articulate your thought. Because then you realize, oh shit, actually,
Yep.
let me complete this fully.
And that is exactly what happened because I hadn't actually sat down and expanded on my answers to those questions. Are there any of those questions that like you hear it and you're like, oh,
Can you reread them?
yeah, which trauma should we talk about today? What does your family fear and what do they value? What do you need to do to deserve love? What gets you approval? What is met with disapproval? What's the worst thing someone could say or think about you? Oh God, that one really, oh, fuck.
I'm going to close the door on family trauma right now.
Why?
I like the question, or maybe not like is the wrong word.
I
But
love it.
the second question,
What do you need to do and who do you need to be to deserve love?
I feel like I need to put that person first. Like I need to do all of these things and show you what I'm willing to do for you so that you could perhaps notice me.
Oh, I do that too.
Like there needs to be a service that I provide before I could even think about someone just seeing me and be like, oh.
Yeah, I know we talked about this a few episodes back. The concept of being loved for just existing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, these questions, I could spend years talking about my answers to these because the one that I really wanted to talk about today, I didn't really want to talk about it, but the one that made me cry the hardest when I was doing this was the question, what did your family teach you? What did you think was true, even if it wasn't? And for me, it was the idea that if you step outside, the world will hurt you. You have every reason to be afraid and not trust that you can take care of yourself and handle what the world throws at you. And I'm okay now, but when I was writing that, I was like, holy fuck. I don't even think I realized that about myself until I was writing this. Because a lot of our trauma is in our community rooted in the fact that our parents are immigrants. And the world was not always kind to them when they came here. But I think holding on to that logic and that guilt was stopping me from verbalizing how it was hurting me and how it was hurting the way I saw the world and myself. And I felt safe in my home to be who I was. But once I stepped outside, like all bets are off. Like anything that happened to me was my fault because I wasn't being careful enough and I wasn't being wary enough of the world around me.
Yeah.
And also just our families being so risk averse.
Yeah.
I mean, shaping my entire life decisions.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Arns would not park in a 1-hour parking spot.
Hell no.
But yeah, no, that's true. Like the fear limited what you allowed yourself to experience, right?
Yeah.
You can't make a Virgo do that. They're already going to do that.
Dude, is what I'm saying. Like, really double down on that trauma.
Yeah.
I took it to heart. And until I said it out loud and realized it and had a really big fucking cry about it, I wasn't able to create that space between me and the thing, me and this idea of how I saw the world. It feels like I have finally ended that trauma loop. And I no longer believe that. If I believed that, I wouldn't be sitting here fucking making this podcast, right? And so now I look at it and I can say that is something that I used to believe in, but I just don't believe it anymore. And that, I feel like, is the power of everything that Victoria Song is doing here. I'm not saying my trauma is like healed, but I think if we can give ourselves that space to really feel things when they come on instead of suppressing them, and you can talk about it, you should talk about it like how we do here, but there is something about being alone and screaming into a fucking pillow and like punching it. Like, I've taken pillows and I've fucking like bashed it on like my bed before, and the first time I did it, I was like, this is like, what am I doing? Like, this is not me. I can't do this. But once I got into the habit of doing it, now it's a thing where in my household, we will literally excuse ourselves and be like, I need to go punch the bag. I need to go do this thing. And it's like, okay. And this has vastly improved communication and also empathy in our household, because now when my husband gets angry, instead of doing what I used to do, which is, why are you being like that? You know, almost blaming him for being the way he is. That's an emotion he feels often. And to fault someone for that it's fucked. And so this has totally made me see the value in having those feelings and working through them.
Yeah. It's crazy how, like, even in the privacy of our own homes, we still don't feel safe to unleash.
Yes.
The first time you told me about this book, I remember the next time that I cried. I was going through something that has plagued me for a long time.
Yeah.
And I started crying, but what was different about this cry was that I didn't try to stop it. I was just like, oh, we're going to go there today? Okay, let's fucking go there today.
Yes, the permission.
Yeah, like, let's just really, no fucking shame. Let's just fucking cry.
How did it feel?
It was like, oh, wow, there's a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot here, you know?
So I really hope everyone reads her book. And she talks about how this was her way of making her practices accessible to people. Because if you look at her coaching website, she coaches people who are now billionaires. I mean, it's like...
So I'm going to be a billionaire now?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So this is her way of wanting everyone to be aware of this. And it's so simple.
Yeah.
Feel your fucking feelings.
It's simple.
It sounds simple.
in theory.
Yeah.
But I totally recognize that there is a lot of fear when it comes to even touching the door, not even opening it, just put your hand on the door.
Yeah.
I hope that this podcast is a small stepping stone for people, because we don't cry enough, or we don't allow ourselves to feel enough. But I hope that you listening to us convinces you that it's actually not that scary. Yeah, I think that's a great tool that we can share with other people.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're listening to this and the next time something shitty happens to you, fucking scream about it. Do something to get it out, and you will guaranteed feel so much better after. You can not forget about it, but put space between you and that thing that happened and move forward, and
then tell us about it.
And then write in. What you got for me?
I don't know how to describe this because it is silly.
Ooh.
It's sad.
Oh.
It's a lot of things.
Okay.
But a wonderful thing.
All right.
Cry level, like 4 or 5. Honestly, I come up with this fucking scale, and then sometimes if the timing is just right, that shit could be
10.
an 8. You know what I mean? So today I will be talking to you about a content creator. And for people like you and me who are like chronically online,
Most of the world.
Yeah. It's so great when, given all the toxic shit that's on there, every once in a while you will come across a character or a person who is just a fucking gem of a human being. And you're just like, oh my God, this person is so funny and so cool. And like, can I be your friend?
Yeah.
You know? So today I will be talking about one such person. She is a content creator based out of New York City, and her name is Taryn Delaney Smith.
Okay.
And she is most popular for her Heaven Receptionist bits that she does on TikTok.
Yes.
Do you know this?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I watched one of her Heaven Receptionist
Okay.
bits.
Okay.
But yeah. Go on.
So sources for today, obviously TikToks from her account, which we will link in our show notes. And then a interview that Taryn Delaney Smith did with NPR. It was written by Emily Olson. Okay, so Taryn Delaney is a lifestyle content creator, and she's been posting videos on TikTok since at least 2021, at least from as far as I scrolled. She's also a former beauty pageant queen. She was crowned Miss New York in 2022 and was like runner up in Miss America that same year.
What?
Yeah, like she's kind of crazy.
I mean, I knew she was gorgeous, but okay.
Gorgeous, stunning, but then also just fucking hilarious. It's one of those things where she can be posting anything. Like she'll be posting like a get ready with me or like a walk to wherever with me. And it's like, I'm always on the edge of my seat because I'm like, she's going to fucking say something that's crazy, you know? Like, yeah, I think she's just so naturally funny and she'll seamlessly throw in her humor and you're just like, you're perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I think in a day and age where we are just inundated with influencers that are all gorgeous and all their clothes are cool and their makeup is incredible, house is perfect. I feel like when we come across someone who just radiates authenticity and just like a genuine warmth, it's palpable, you know, like you can tell through the screen.
Yeah.
This is actually someone I really want to be friends with. And I think that's why even before this bit, even before she was crowned Miss New York, she just naturally gained this massive following because people could see that about her. In this article with NPR, she talks about how important it is to just be herself. She says, I didn't really think I'd be pushing the envelope just by being myself and a beauty queen. And she'll say things like, I'm not being weird, I'm having fun, I'm being silly. You know, it's just like, it's like she said, I think humans were meant to create things. We just get in our own way. It's like she has no...
Hold on. What?
Like there's no shame or embarrassment about just being playful in life. And that doesn't detract from any of your accomplishments. Like you can just still be fucking cool.
Can you say that quote again?
I think humans were meant to create things. We just get in our own way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Ugh. Okay. So this interview she did with NPR, she talks about how in 2023, Taryn was in the shower, which we all know is when our best ideas come. And she starts thinking about like what outfit you're stuck wearing in the afterlife. And she's like, if I died in a chicken suit, am I stuck in a chicken suit?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, I have the best idea for a video. So she gets out of the shower, she puts on a white bathrobe and wraps her hair in a white towel. And she like finds the first stock image of heaven she can find on Google Images. She uses it as the background for this video. And in this video, she plays Denise, who is Heaven's receptionist. So this character that she created, Denise, she has this New York accent. Okay, I'm terrified to impersonate it, but sometimes when I'm telling a story, I can't fucking help it. Like,
just do it. It's okay. We get in our own way, remember?
Okay, yeah. But yeah, so she just goes through like all of the mundane humdrum tasks of checking people into heaven, answering phones, and being like the first point of contact for any of the souls that are already there. Just like general front desk life.
Yeah.
I understand your frustration, ma'am. I understand. Okay, there, I did it, okay? Yay! And she pulled a lot of inspiration from her own experience working as a receptionist, which was a job she worked to casually pay off for getting her master's degree in international communication. I don't understand her. Yeah, I don't get it. So let me just show you a few of the first videos of her doing this bit. She posted this on her TikTok in March of 2023.
Okay.
They're just, I don't know, they're just so hilarious. They're funny. And then they just really capture like the daily low stakes dramas of office life.
Okay.
So yeah, I just showed Arns 2 videos and we'll link them, but it's just so funny. Like in one of them, she's dealing with a rude customer who thinks they're entitled for like the angels package in heaven. And she's like, well, you need 7,899 good deeds and you're short 7,899 good deeds. So obviously when she posted these, she already had a following. Okay. And when she posted this bit, absolutely went viral. And soon enough, her inbox and comment sections were just filled. They just blew up. And one such comment was from a user named Jennifer Tavernier 13. And she wrote, I don't know what made me bust out crying, but your videos are perfect. I wish I could see you do one greeting my mom.
No. God.
I figured you hadn't seen these videos yet.
No.
Because I figured you would react differently. But once Taryn got this message, it was like a light bulb went off for her. And she was like, oh yeah, I can definitely do that. I can check in people's loved ones who have passed. Oh, fuck. So let me play this video where she greets this user's mom named Jerry, which again, I will link.
Oh.
So in this TikTok, Denise is gossiping with her coworker. And then Jerry, this user's mom, supposedly walks in and Denise stops what she's doing. And she's like, oh yeah, I know who you are. We've been expecting you. You're Jerry, right? We're already getting a bunch of prayer mail for you. And then Denise just goes about checking Jerry into heaven, gives her the Wi-Fi password, tells her that she can go to Earth anytime she wants to check in on her family. And I feel like in some of the first few bits of Taryn playing this character, Denise can be snappy with some of her other more difficult guests, like Napoleon. Such a complex. But every time she dedicates a video to someone who has passed, she plays Denise with such a kindness. You know, she just welcomes them all. So, as you can imagine, the reception of this video to Jerry was just so incredible. People were like, this is so beautiful. And a lot of people were like, I know that this is for someone else's mother, but it gave me comfort just imagining my own mother meeting someone like Denise when she got to heaven. So the video opened up the floodgates, tear gates as well, let's be honest. So people all over the world start messaging Taryn and telling her about the people they've lost and how her videos provide them comfort. So Taryn starts posting a bunch of other videos that are similar to this, where she'll pick someone who messaged her and she'll dedicate a video to them. And she likes to pick people whose stories are somewhat different. That way it relates to more people. Like, you know, Jerry obviously is the mother figure that you can relate to if you've lost a parent.
I see.
She's done other videos for people who have lost a friend or people who have died unexpectedly. All of them are just so beautiful. I'll play one more for you, another example. And the request came from a user named MJBM0723 who wrote, "Please tell me that you greeted my daughter, Ella Rose. I'm sure she was scared and sad she didn't get to stay with us." And in the caption of the video that Taryn posted for Ella Rose, Taryn writes, "I hope it's okay. I assumed her age. She just felt like a little one as I've thought about her over the last week or so. For anyone who has ever lost a little one." So I just played Arns the video of Denise greeting Ella Rose, who we assume is a small child. And Denise welcomes Ella Rose and she says, "We're expecting someone very special today." And when Ella Rose walks in, Denise is just comforting her and letting her know she's okay. And she says, "Some people you love very much, who love you very much, let me know that you'd be coming to see me today. I know the people you want to see are downstairs, but a long time from now, it's going to feel like a long time to them, but not to you. They're going to be up here with you. In the meantime, you get to play. You can be anybody you want to be, but more importantly, you're never going to be alone." It's just incredible what Taryn did. I don't think that she ever expected this silly little bit to mean so much to so many people. Losing someone you love is one of the hardest, if not the hardest, universal experiences that we all face at some point or another. The not knowing where they are, missing them, wanting them to be okay and unafraid and just feeling helpless. It's such a beautiful gift, this character who offers those who are grieving this comforting thought that their loved ones are in safe hands, that they're being taken care of. Taryn talks about how she receives literally hundreds and hundreds of messages requesting they insert specific people into her videos. And realistically, she knows that she can't just dedicate her content to that because it weighs heavily on her too. Mm-hmm. But she says that she will always come back to this character. She's never going to stop accepting these stories and these messages because she recognizes the honor of being able to carry people's love and help them through their grief, even if it just means giving them outlet to talk about it. So yeah, I love this because it's really hard to, if we're thinking of the Bending Reality book, going through these contractions, all these things that we deem like negative and heavy and just difficult to face. But there's so much joy and comfort that we can find in the silly moments, just like the funny and the absurd. And yeah, I think this quote from Taryn is a good one to end it on. She says, "I think the best part of life is laughter. I think the best part of life is finding joy and silliness in as many moments as you can." And it's incredible that she's able to do that and be that for so many people, even during the darkest times of our grief.
Thank you for sharing that. Actually, it reminds me of what we were talking about at the beginning with your dad and what he said to Bev, because she could have easily seen that comment and been like, "Oh, that's too heavy. I don't want to go there." That comment saying, "I wish I could see a video of what it was like for my mom to get greeted." But she did go there. And like you said, it was an honor for her. It is an honor for her to do that for people. And I think that was a really brave thing for her to even
take on.
And yeah, heavy, but she
found a way to make it beautiful.
Yeah, I loved that.
Yeah. You can tell that this is someone who just really wants to spread joy and just loves people and just loves making them happy. And in the darkest moments of people's lives, she was able to make them smile.
Yeah.
The woman who wrote her about Jerry, the mom. So when Taryn posted the video, this user commented and she was like, I spent the whole evening just watching this video over and over again. And it just made me so happy to think that that's what happened when Jerry went to heaven. It's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give her a little follow.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Taryn. You're incredible.
Yeah.
There's so many that she does. But, like, it's a perfect mix of, like, those really poignant and beautiful messages to these real people.
Yeah.
But then she'll go back to just the silliness as well. Like, she knows how to find that balance.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. She's great.
Oh, yeah.
But you know she doesn't gossip. She never has.
On an almost daily basis, we say, we owe it to Kelly to be honest.
Just a little spin.
No words. She just spun. Wow. Incredible.
She's a freaking hoot, dude. But yeah, thank you, Taryn. Thank you for sharing your joy and your just incredible outlook on life with the world, and for creating this character and sharing it with the world. She's so loved, and she has done so much for so many.
Well,
did we do it again?
we fucking did it.
Jesus Christ, we keep doing this.
We keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, how that keeps happening. Like, we both come here at the same time.
Yeah, we like stumble upon this. Like, whoa, what are you doing here?
Wait, do you have a story? I have a story.
I have a story too. Yeah. Wow.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, the coincidence is
And then there just
like,
happens to be all this like recording equipment and like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. Synchronicity, you know?
So serendipitous.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this. We hope that if you have reservations about crying, we hope maybe this gave you a little bit of permission to. And then we also hope that we reminded you that after the big long cry, there is lightness, there is joy.
Look at you weaving in all the themes from today.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Very genius of you.
Yes.
You may not have gone to Yale or Harvard, but you still found a way to do that.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Feel free to go and leave us those 5 stars now. No, but for real, please, as you heard today, we love hearing from you. So please don't be shy. Please email us, hello@brbcryingpodcast.com. Reach out to us on our website, brbcryingpodcast.com. DM us on Instagram, on our socials, we're brbcrying.podcast. We love hearing from you. We really do get a good fucking cry from when you share. So,
yeah. We also just love knowing that this message is resonating with people, and the ratings and the reviews really help get this message out just even a little bit more broadly. So very, very grateful for everyone who has rated us already.
and you know, if something here has resonated with you, something that's also helpful, share it with people in your life, your community. That's a big thing that we want to do here, build community. And we want the people that it resonates with to also spread that love too.
Yeah.
So,
We can all be crybabies together. Well, that's our show, folks.
that's all.
That's
all we got.
That's all we got for now. We'll be back next week.
Don't you worry.
Don't you worry.
We'll be back.
But until then,
BRB crying.